Welcome back to the Investor Professor podcast. This is Dr. Ryan Peckham, and this is episode 59. On today's episode, we're going to discuss sleep, something we do every day. But how often do you think about the type of sleep that you're getting, the quality of sleep, the amount of sleep? Is it something that you make a conscious decision on? Obviously, if we don't get good sleep, we start to notice right away. So we're going to do a little market update, and then I'm excited. We'll be joined by Bridget Chapman with Sleepopolis to discuss everything sleep. So get your mind right, and let's get to work.
You dropped this.
All right, so welcome back to the show, everybody. I am recording this episode midweek. It's Wednesday, August 10th. And so the market is doing incredibly well today. The Consumer Price Index number came out this morning, CPI for short, which is basically the inflation number. And it shows that inflation rises at 8.5%. And that seems to be good news because it was 8.7 the previous month, which would signal that inflation is coming down. And if that is true, that would mean that the Federal Reserve will not have to raise interest rates as much next month in September, which could mean just a 50 basis point hike instead of 75. And because of that, you're seeing the market rally. Time will tell if it holds for the rest of the week, but for a Wednesday, it's pretty good. The NASDAQ's up 2.5%, Dow's up 1.2%. And the NASDAQ, the technology stocks, it's definitely a risk-on day. And we will see if this continues. There's a lot of data that has to come out between now and the end of September when the Fed is going to have their next meeting. But for now, looks pretty good. And you'll notice that there's many companies, like I said, the technology companies, the Amazons and Microsofts and Apples, and those are doing really well. But really some of the ones that have been beat up the most throughout the year are doing well. Trade Desk, PayPal, those kind of names. And so, we will see. It's still kind of touch and go. There's a lot of data that has to come out to kind of confirm this. But if inflation does start to tick down, then the Fed should be able to reduce rates or reduce the amount of the rate hikes, the level. And so we'll kind of get to maybe more of a normal situation, whatever normal is. I mean, the past couple of years have been so crazy just with COVID and all the things that has entailed and how that has swung the economy from one side to the other. So anyways, we'll see if it lasts, but that's kind of the midweek update for you here. And I'm excited. So today, you'll hear in just a moment, I'm joined with Bridget Chapman of Sleepopolis, and we discuss everything sleep, the habits that you need, what are some things that cause people to have bad sleep. I hope you enjoy this conversation. I do think it's a meaningful one, and super excited that she decided to join us on the program today. So hope you enjoy this interview. Thanks for tuning in.
Happily joined with Bridget Chapman of Sleepopolis, and we're going to go over tons of topics, resources on how to get better sleep, how to help your body and mind perform better. So, Bridget, thanks for coming on the show with us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I am always excited to talk about sleep.
Yeah, it's a topic everybody, maybe we don't spend enough time on, but something that everybody does and everybody should take more seriously, correct?
Oh, I agree. And I feel like most people will say they appreciate sleep and they love sleep, but they're not really doing what they need to do to get high quality sleep. So excited to talk more about it.
Yeah. So on that, let's just dive right in. So what are some of the health benefits of sleep?
I mean, we need sleep to survive, right? To function. And so more specifically, when you're looking at your day-to-day, if you're getting good, high quality sleep, you're going to be able to be more productive, and it can help boost your immune system and keep you from getting sick. It can encourage muscle repair, keeps you alert while you're doing your day-to-day tasks, physical and mental benefits of just promoting health with that. It even can be lowering risk for different diseases, help your metabolism, which can be great if you're either trying to maintain a certain weight or lose weight, and just overall keeps you healthy and functioning. It can also even go as far as helping, your skin in the days be clear and healthy.
Yeah.
So it really everything you think of when it comes to your body, sleep can play a role in.
So but you said in the beginning, you said high quality sleep. So how do you define that?
So I think high quality sleep is when you're truly giving yourself, and we can dive into it more of, what everyone needs for the certain hours. But when you're giving yourself the full time you need to sleep and you're letting yourself do so in the right environment. And so you're able to reach, that REM sleep, that deep sleep, and you're not forcing yourself to wake up earlier than you need to. You're not waking up constantly in the night, and just really allowing yourself to get good sleep.
Right. Yeah. And for a lot of us, I think, or for most people, it's how do you mentally unpack the day that already happened?
Right.
And also not like, how do you mentally unpack the day that happened and also not be thinking about the day that's about to happen? Right. So we get caught in this vortex of like what happened and what's going to happen, I think. And it's like people always say, like I hear people, they say, I can't turn my mind off, right? Like to
totally
relax, to go to sleep.
Yeah. And I think having, smartphones at the tip of our fingers doesn't help with that either, because not only can it be hard to wind down sometimes, but then it's also hard to tune all that out, right? You have access to social media, to the news, to just the whole world. And sometimes it can be hard. And especially for me, I'm very guilty of this, to put the phone away and try to just get yourself in that good mental zone to be calm and go to bed.
Yeah. And I think sleep is an easy thing to, how do I put this? Like just, I can sleep tomorrow. I'll catch up tomorrow. But it's not like you can't bank sleep, right? Like you can't, we always think, okay, well, I'll do that tomorrow. And then we just kind of zombie out for a couple of days.
Right. That's not how it works. And it's funny because that is, I think, something people have debated about is whether or not you can make up for sleep. And I do think, and oh my gosh, someone is, of course, mowing right outside my window. Okay. So I am so sorry if that is popping up. Perfect timing. But I think it's, I do think you can have those times where if you really let yourself sleep in here and there, it can be beneficial. But it seems like a very unhealthy mindset to think, I got 5 hours 2 nights in a row, so I'll just be sure to get 8 hours, a couple other nights in a row. It's really all about consistency and going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, every week, if you are able to make that happen.
Right. And we, for most people, especially if you're listening to this and your parents, that's one of the things that makes parenting a lot easier is if you keep your children's bedtimes routines the same. And then I think there's some part of us that when we become teenagers or whatever, we start breaking, you've had this good sleep routine until you're a teenager. And then at some point, maybe in college, it goes away. And then in your 20s, it's like, I don't need to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead type mentality, right?
Right. And especially back in college, it's almost like glorifying the all-nighters. Right. Oh yeah, I pulled an all-nighter for that. And it's just, that is not what we should be doing. And then on the other side of what you're saying, it's like the, wake up and grind, early bird gets the worm. We've had all of that told to us for so long.
Yeah. I think, I shared this with you earlier, but I remember, so when I was doing my, I was in school for a long time. And when I hit about my mid 30s, I used to stay up late, I'd be writing, I'd be reading. When I hit about my mid 30s, my body was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. And I started noticing if I wasn't getting enough sleep, the main trigger for me, it wasn't physical impairment, it was mental. My mind felt slower, calculating problems, reading something. I'd read a paragraph and I wouldn't remember what I read. And so you're constantly reading the same thing over and over again, but you're not really grasping it. And I just noticed cognitively, like I would slow down if I wasn't getting enough sleep. And
Totally.
so, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, because as I touched on, the benefits of sleep, and one of those is having that cognitive ability to be able to focus and have the energy and be productive. And so on the opposite side, when you're not getting enough sleep, that's exactly what it's taking away from you, which is sounds like exactly what you were experiencing.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the real, problem for many of us. And I think there's even been studies now that show, right, that, I mean, I don't know a lot about this, so I'm definitely not an expert in this field, but I think I've read a couple articles that they pointed to like dementia and things like that on older life, things that most people get when they're older, that they're finding that it comes down to like people that didn't sleep enough during their lifetime, or, were constantly, sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night or whatever it is. And so that's some interesting research that's coming out on that.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen that as well, where there's a lot of correlation that researchers and doctors are finding between certain diseases and their sleep habits, which it is really interesting. And we need to prioritize sleep. It should be really important.
Right. And so what are some things people can do to get better sleep?
So one that I mentioned earlier is really try and focus on going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. And then also, I guess starting from when you do wake up through the end of the night, when you do wake up, try and get outside, get some of that daylight, that natural, wonderful sunshine, even just 15 minutes, whether it's having your coffee or going on a short little walk. That can be really great to help kind of boost you for the rest of the day. It also can be good to cut out any coffee or caffeine. I always try to just stop after lunch is my rule of thumb. And just because that can stay in your system for longer than we sometimes think it does. And so it's good to try and cut it out early. If you can cut it out altogether, that's probably best, but I can't be a hypocrite with that one.
And some people are more sensitive to caffeine, right? Like some people are much more sensitive than others.
True. And so and with all of these sleep tips, that's the thing too, there's no one rule that's going to work for everyone. It's just sleep is not a one size fits all. It is so personal to you and your body and your needs. And so some things that work for me aren't going to work for other people and vice versa. But I also think, getting exercise during the day, even if it's just, a nice long 30-minute walk, like that's always beneficial as well. Avoiding heavy meals late at night, trying to just avoid eating dinner, super close to bedtime can be good as well. One thing that I am especially bad at, that I know I'm bad at and need to work on, is keeping your phone out of your room, not scrolling when you are laying in bed trying to sleep. It can just keep your brain activated in the sense that you don't want it to be while you're trying to relax and wind down. And if people are having trouble relaxing or winding down, I've heard, taking warm baths works for a lot of people. It doesn't work for me personally. Again, everyone's different, but I've heard that has worked for a lot of people. Reading, just doing whatever makes you like reach your zen in a sense, even meditation, quite literally, and just wind down before you go to bed if you can. And so that's why staying off the phone, having the TV on in the bedroom can sometimes upset that.
Yeah, and when you say wind down, are we talking like 30 minutes before you want to go to bed? Is it an hour? Like what time frame are we thinking on that?
And see, that's another thing where it can be different for everyone. But for me, I would say 30 minutes is a good time to just start, but also, go to bed when you're feeling tired. Like that's the thing too, is sleep can be something that when you try to force it, it can be really stressful. I'm sure a lot of us have been there when you're laying in bed and you're stressed out about the fact that you're not sleeping, which is not helping you fall asleep any sooner. And so it's really just going to bed when you're tired. But if you can start that routine 30 minutes or so before you do actually get in bed, that can be really helpful. But also the environment, like your actual bedroom environment, can also be huge. So making sure that it's cool, it's dark, it's quiet. like that's also a great place to start.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that, well, I think about obviously my situation. I used to so I have kids. I would stay up late, so I'd put the family to bed, and then I would get back up, right, and I'd work from like 10 to 2 in the morning, whatever it was. And I found that when I started trying to switch my sleep habits, I'd done that for so many years that as I got close, I'd be really tired, but as I got closer to 10, my body would automatically start to wake back up because I'd had this habit for a number of years, right?
Right.
So I can say that if you have not the best sleep habits, it is a habit. And just like any habit, you're going to have to break it because because your body gets used to what you're putting it through. And so that was something that I had to adjust to. And I know for me, I shouldn't admit this, but I'm very sensitive to light. So if I go to a hotel room and they have those annoying alarm clocks that have light, I will automatically turn them upside down. But a year or two ago, I started sleeping, I got a little sleep mask, changed my life. Because I'm just so sensitive to different lights. And some people aren't. Some people can have the phone, they can have their partner can be on their phone and they never notice. They can have the TV on. They can have a disco ball going off in the middle of the room and they have no problem going to sleep. And I can notice a microwave light from across the room,
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, yours sounds next level that you can, it's like your spidey sense with light. Yeah. But I'm the same way. It's I need it to be dark because even when my eyes are closed, you can still sense it and see, it still makes its way in. And that's where when you were saying you were going to the eye masks, I thought you were going to say blackout curtains because those can also be a game changer for people.
Yeah. I mean, I get excited about going to Vegas because I like sleeping with the blackout curtains more than the, everything else going on. And I think too, you're talking about taking a warm bath and stuff. And I'm kind of the opposite to that because I don't know if it's because I live in Texas or not, but it's so hot here. To me, it's how do I cool down before I go to bed? And I kind of mentioned this, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but I started sleeping on one of the 8 sleep pods that cools down. That thing has been unbelievable. Cool your mattress down.
Well, because your body's temperature naturally goes down when you're sleeping. And so that's why having a cool environment, creating a cool environment for yourself is really beneficial. Again, for most people, some people might do better hot, but that's why it's good to try and set a cool environment if you can, whether it's the thermostat or having cool products like that, which they make. You would be shocked at, everything they can do now with cooling pillows and blankets and sheets and just.
Yeah, the technology is amazing, right? you can track your sleep. I mean, the amount of sleep technology that's available now, which we'll get into, is amazing. And you say you talked about your sleep expert, mattress expert. So what are the things that people need to know? You've talked about the way that your position while you sleep. So let's kind of get into that. Let's get into the technology of sleep.
So when it comes to mattresses, it's your position you sleep in is so important in how you pick a new mattress. And so most of us sleep on our side, our back, or our stomach. And if you're sleeping in a weird formation that doesn't fall into those, you should probably try and get it fixed. But, generally people sleep in one or all of those positions. I personally switch between my back and my side at night. And because of that, I need a different mattress than someone who sleeps on their stomach all night, because the whole goal is to have your spine in alignment and also to get the pressure relief you need. And so stomach sleepers are, in order to have their spine in alignment, they need their hips to be lifted up. So they typically are going to want a firmer mattress to make that happen. While me, who sleeps on my side a lot, will want a softer mattress. So I can really have that nice sinkage around my shoulder and my hip and not have pressure building up. And then back sleepers are actually pretty easy to please. It really is just about being supported and comfortable. And a lot of mattresses can make that happen for them. But knowing what position you sleep in is a great thing to know when you're looking at a mattress, because if I have a firm mattress, I'm going to wake up in pain, or it's going to lead to pain down the road if it's not
Right.
immediate.
Well, and I guess that becomes the problem of why couples have so like issues, right? Because same bed, two different types of sleepers. Great. Who's compromising, right?
Right. And that's where, because, there's a lot of different mattress firmness levels out there. And that's where kind of the rule of thumb is a medium firm mattress can work. It can be the happy medium for couples as well. But then there's also components in a mattress that people may not think about, like how good its edge support is, which is, the perimeter of the bed, how it supports weight. So whether or not you can truly sleep on the edge of the bed, or if it'll start sinking, like you're going to fall off.
Mhm.
And then motion isolation. So if your partner's tossing and turning a lot, if they're kind of a mover and shaker as they sleep, whether or not you're going to feel that, because you don't want to wake up to your partner just have, tossing and turning.
Right.
And mattresses are built differently where they can do better in some of these categories than others.
Okay, but let's get to the real thing here. Like, how often should people change their mattress, and how often do people actually change their mattress?
So I say the general rule of thumb is about 7 to 10 years, but it depends on your mattress, because high quality mattresses are going to last longer than low quality ones. Of course, that makes sense. But we're talking like a latex mattress, which is becoming pretty popular. Like those can last up to 15 years. But if you buy a really cheap, maybe like a cheap foam mattress, that may only last you a few years. So I say a good rule of thumb is 7 to 10 years. Things to look out for to know whether or not it's time is if there's just wear and tear on the mattress, right? If it's doing that dip in the middle where people call it like a taco, where you're sinking in the middle. And if you're going to hotels or Airbnbs and you're sleeping better and you're like, wow, this is a comfortable mattress, then your one at home is just not doing it for you. And to answer your, sorry.
So how often do you think people actually change them though?
I was going to say, to answer that, I think people definitely push that, because with we donate mattresses a lot because we review and test them, in person, and I have no need to keep 300 mattresses. So we donate them a lot, and people will admit, like, I've had this thing for 20 years. I've had this for 15 years. And it hurts me when I hear that, because I just know how that can cause so much back pain and bad sleeping.
Yeah. I find that odd too, because just from a financial standpoint, I think about like you use it every single day, right? It's something you use every single day, but people say like, oh, I'm not going to pay that for a mattress, whatever, however much it is. And I go, yeah, but you use it every day. So let's just say you divide how many days are in a year. You're going to sleep every day. You start breaking down the cost. You're going to have it for 7 years, whatever it is. And you go, it's really not that much, but it's not something you see. It's not tangible. You can't drive your mattress down the road and say, hey, look how great my mattress is. I mean, so it's an easy cost to not think about, I guess, or not invest the money, so to speak.
Yeah, you're not really showing it off to your friends when they come over.
Yeah, that'd be awkward.
My mattress.
Yeah, that'd be a tad awkward, right?
I think people also might just kind of group it in with the rest of their furniture, right? They're like, oh, it's just another piece of furniture in the bedroom, when you're right. I mean, I know they can be very expensive, but it is so worth the investment when you think about, like you said, how often are you sleeping on that? And if you can get 10 years out of it.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too, though, is like shopping for a mattress sucks.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I do not want to go into a store and you lay on it and there's a person standing over you going, how's that feel? And you're like, good, I guess. I mean, so what are your suggestions or, strategies on how can you make the shopping experience better?
Yes. And this is where I can naturally plug Sleepopolis, because we really work to keep people out of those situations. So what we essentially do is review not only mattresses, but sleep products. And then we also have a ton of sleep health, sleep news information on our site as well. But we review them. We write everything there is to know about them, who we think they're best for, compare them to other mattresses. We have different roundups where we say, here are our favorite mattresses for back sleepers, or for anyone who weighs, over 250 pounds, like you're going to need a different mattress than someone who weighs 100 pounds. So we try and break it up and do all that. We do not sell the mattresses. Sometimes people get confused by that. We're purely doing the reviews and trying to provide the information. And so I always recommend, if you're looking for a new mattress, check out the different reviews online. There are a lot of mattresses. I know some people are probably not as comfortable buying a mattress online. I've said it before, I'm an online shopper through and through. I love being able to do my research at home and look at the different options,
Right.
like you said, without someone hovering over me. And so I would say just look at what's out there online first before going into a store, if that's the way you want to do it. And also make sure you know what the trial period is, what the warranty information is, because it can be telling. For one, if there's a super short trial period and warranty, that shows a little bit less confidence the company has in that
Right.
product. Then some mattresses have a lifetime warranty to them. So that company is showing like they have a lot of confidence in this. And then just looking at what would work best for your own body, and whether or not you sleep with a partner or a pet who, may be jumping around on your bed at night, like I have
Right.
with my lovely cat. And so do the research. Don't just show up. And also, if you're shopping, if you're ready to pull the trigger, always shop around sales. That is the best time to buy a mattress, is
Right.
any of the major
Any
holidays.
holiday, right?
Yes.
Labor Day coming up type deal. Right?
Yes, that is Labor Day right around the corner. And then I think like Black Friday would probably be our next big one. You can save a ton of money and also get free products thrown in as you do it, which is always great.
Yeah. So I bought my last mattress. I did buy online. I had it shipped to the door. And of course, they have the return stuff, but it's like, okay, it comes in this box. How am I ever going to get it back in the box to send it back to them? Right. It's, like, okay. And I think that's probably part of the hesitancy too, is just, it's a cumbersome item, it's not, getting rid of your old one. It's just not a fun, you wrestling a king size mattress. It's just, there's not many harder things to move, but I think more people have become comfortable doing, shopping for mattresses online. I think it's, because the store experience is so poor, right? It's like, I'll take my chances.
Yeah. And I think that the beauty of the internet is there's so many people who are putting their opinions and their own personal experiences out there. So even if you're not, taking only Sleepopolis and what we say, there's going to be plenty of other reviews on that mattress on the website. Mm-hmm. And when it does come to the returns, some of these companies will send people out to come physically pick it up for you. Yeah. So, I like it because it reminds me too of like car shopping, when you feel like you're rushed to make like this huge decision, and you're like, I don't know, I just want a car that will get me down the road, but you're throwing all these other things at me.
Yeah. So we talked about the mattress, but you talked about all these other products. So what are some other things that people can use? Like, I guess your pillow. I've seen the commercials for the Cube pillow. I've never used it. But what are the other things that we should be aware of?
Yes, your pillow also, which I didn't fully realize either until I started working for Sleepopolis, is how much your pillow could make a difference. And just, it makes sense, but whether you sleep on your side, back, or stomach, again, depending on that position, you should be looking for a certain type of pillow. And then the cooling components that a lot of these products have is really cool. And no pun intended, but
right.
Some of these are actually cool to the touch, like no lie, which is hard to think that they can actually do that with a blanket. But I think that's always great. Weighted blankets, I'm really into. I think that they're very nice. Not for everyone again, but I personally like them. In terms of cool, like gadgets, I really think the sunrise alarm clocks are cool, that wake you up by mimicking natural light. If you've seen those, I'm about to start reviewing a bunch of sleep trackers, and the different technology they have with those is like just insane as well. You know, they have everything from realistic, trendy looking watches that will track your sleep and also some exercise habits to there's this one where you put a pad under your mattress and it tracks your sleep habits as you just move throughout the night, which is interesting. Humidifiers can be really great for people as well. White noise machines. Basically, like anything you feel you're lacking in your sleep environment, there's something out there.
I think for me, like I use the sleep trackers and different things, but to me, the value is like the way that they wake you up is nicer. Like nobody likes to be, I mean, some of the, if you just set like a regular alarm clock on your iPhone, I mean, it's honestly like somebody comes and just starts shaking you. Right. I mean, like, so I think the way that you wake up, I mean, it is kind of a big piece of it too, and just where it doesn't feel like you're just getting basically shaken up. I mean, it's just awful, right? Some of the ways that people wake up.
Yeah, there's that one. I feel like it's the default iPhone alarm clock, and I hear it. Like I'm like, where do I need to be? Where, like, am I late? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. And that it's weird, but so that I told you, I just recently bought that 8 sleep system, right? That cools the mattress. But there's a setting on there where it'll start to vibrate to wake you up, and it does it slowly. It does it slowly and kind of gets more aggressive. I guess I don't know what aggressive probably isn't the right word. That's probably not the right word, but it'll start to but it's such a nicer way to. And I actually looked at that thing for about a year, right? And I was like, I don't want to spend the money on it, and then like we've had like, I don't know how many days, 30 plus days of like 100 plus degree heat. You're going to bed and it's still 101 outside. And I finally was like, you know what? I need something, right? So I'm going to try this out. And that thing gets cold. I mean, it gets pretty, I haven't hit like the extreme temperature, but I mean, it gets cold.
Yeah.
Which is very nice. So.
And you're not having to set your thermostat as low.
Actually, that's true. Actually, you don't have to set your thermostat as low because it does, does such a good job. But I do think like an investment in sleep technology or helping you to get a better night's sleep, it impacts all the other areas of your life. Like it impacts your, if you're doing physical fitness, your mental health, just waking up in a better mood and not waking up, stiff back, whatever it is to start your day. I mean, it does make an impact because it's, like you said, it's the consistency, right? So it's day after day after day. So if you're not like you almost don't notice because it's day after day after day, it's like you're getting bad sleep consistently. And so it's like this gradual path that you're on that you don't really notice until, like you said, you go to an Airbnb or you go to a nice hotel and you go, man, this is great. Then you're taking the sheets off, trying to figure out what brand of mattress they have.
Which I have definitely done. And I think it's also, I don't know if people just kind of associate it with being part of their life, but it's like, you don't need to live like that. You don't need to, there's no reason to have to feel, whether it's the pain that you're feeling from a bad mattress or groggy. I feel like I know so many people who are just always tired. And it's like, that's not normal. You shouldn't feel always tired. And whether it's as simple as being able to discover a great sleep gadget or replace your mattress, or if it's going, to a sleep doctor and maybe discovering an underlying sleep disorder, like there are solutions, which I think people need to keep in mind.
So you're saying that like we need to get Post Malone to talk to you because he's got the always tired tattoo on his face. So maybe he needs to be like case study number 1.
Yeah, Posty, tell me what your sleep habits are. Do you sleep on your backside or stomach?
Right. Or do you just, wherever I pass out, that's where I'm at. So, well, I appreciate it. Is there anything else we should know? Obviously, how do people get in touch with you? How do they find you and all your reviews that you've done?
Yeah, so Sleepopolis, which is Sleepopolis. We have our website, sleepopolis.com. We have written reviews. We have video reviews on YouTube. We're on all the social media platforms. You can also look me up, Bridget Chapman. I'm also on all the social media platforms. But like I said, we try to just be kind of the one-stop sleep shop. So we have all the reviews, but we also, if you just want to learn more about different sleep tips or studies or news, we have all that for you as well.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.